So, as we discussed earlier, Asante Samuel Jr. has been a name that has caught fire in the Cowboys rumor mill, and for good reason. If you're a Cowboys fan, you probably know all about how impactful Trevon Diggs has been on the defense. His ability to lock down wide receivers while also being a true playmaker with his ability to generate turnovers has made him one of the best cornerbacks in the league. However, having just one elite cornerback isn't enough in the NFL, especially in a division like the NFC East, where teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants have invested heavily in their wide receiver rooms. The Cowboys need another cornerback who can match up with the best of them. Enter Asante Samuel Jr. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today, we've got some juicy NFL rumors that have been swirling around the Dallas Cowboys' potential moves during free agency, and I'm here to break it all down for you. There are some names that have the Cowboys fanbase buzzing. Samuel Jr. is the son of Asante Samuel Sr., who had a fantastic career as a cornerback in the NFL, making 4 Pro Bowls and winning 2 Super Bowls with the New England Patriots. While we all know the apple doesn't always fall far from the tree, Samuel Jr. has proven that he's got his own set of skills that are unique. He's coming off a fantastic sophomore season with the Los Angeles Chargers, where he tallied 8 pass deflections and 2 interceptions, and that was just in his second year in the league. That's the type of playmaking ability the Cowboys could use in their secondary. The addition of Samuel would solidify the Cowboys' cornerback room and form a dynamic duo with Trevon Diggs. When you have 2 ball-hawking cornerbacks on opposite sides of the field, it makes life extremely difficult for quarterbacks. It forces them to throw into tight windows, which ultimately leads to turnovers, something that Dan Quinn, the Cowboys' defensive coordinator, would surely love. But the question we all have to ask is, how realistic is this? Is there any chance that the Cowboys could pull off a trade for Samuel, or would they be able to lure him away from the Chargers through free agency? While Samuel Jr. has been a vital part of the Chargers' defense, his young age, he's only 23 years old, and potential make him a coveted player on the market. The Chargers are expected to make every effort to lock him up long term, so the Cowboys might have to be aggressive if they want to bring him in. Now, while the idea of pairing Samuel Jr. with Diggs in the Cowboys' secondary sounds fantastic, we also have to consider the reality of the situation. The Chargers have shown a commitment to building a championship-caliber defense, and Samuel's contract is coming up soon. The Cowboys could try to make a move for him, but the likelihood of him leaving Los Angeles seems slim unless they can make a deal that the Chargers can't refuse. But hey, this is the NFL, and stranger things have happened. It's something to keep an eye on as the offseason progresses. Switching gears a bit, let's dive into the idea of adding a true veteran presence to the Cowboys' defensive line in the form of Calais Campbell. The Cowboys have one of the best pass-rushing duos in the NFL with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, but there is a noticeable gap when it comes to interior pressure. Adding a player like Campbell could fill that gap and put the Cowboys' defensive line in a class of its own. At 6'8" and 300 pounds, Campbell is the definition of a disruptive force. Calais Campbell has been one of the most dominant defensive linemen in the league for years. Since entering the NFL in 2008, Campbell has accumulated 99.5 sacks and has earned 6 Pro Bowl selections. He's been a cornerstone piece for both the Arizona Cardinals and Jacksonville Jaguars, and most recently, with the Baltimore Ravens, where he continued to play at a high level even into his mid-30s. He's had a storied career, and his leadership, work ethic, and presence on and off the field are undeniable. While it's true that Campbell is no longer in his prime, he still has a lot to offer, particularly when it comes to run defense and creating pressure up the middle. Adding him to the Cowboys' defense would not only improve their pass rush but also give them another option to rotate into their defensive line. Dallas has always prided itself on having a deep and versatile defensive line, and Campbell would provide them with both. Let's talk about Campbell's fit in Dallas. The Cowboys have Micah Parsons, who is an elite pass rusher and linebacker, but there's still a need for a true interior disruptor. Campbell's ability to collapse the pocket from the inside would force quarterbacks to get rid of the ball faster, which could play to the strengths of their edge rushers like Parsons and Lawrence. Additionally, Campbell's leadership and experience could be invaluable in mentoring younger players like Osa Odigizua and Neville Gallimore, who are still developing. As with all veteran players, the issue of age and long-term commitment comes into play. At 37, Campbell is definitely on the back nine of his career. However, he's shown no signs of slowing down significantly, and he's still effective in both stopping the run and getting after the quarterback. From a financial perspective, Campbell could be a short-term investment for the Cowboys, with the expectation that he would help bridge the gap while the team continues to build its defense for the future. The biggest question here is, does Calais Campbell want to come to Dallas? With the Ravens, Campbell is part of a solid, competitive defense, and it might take a really strong offer for him to leave Baltimore. But as we know, the Cowboys are always willing to spend when they believe a player can help them win a Super Bowl. If they decide to go after Campbell, they'd likely offer him a competitive contract and an opportunity to win a championship. Whether or not Campbell would be willing to leave a place he's spent a significant portion of his career remains to be seen, but don't rule out the Cowboys making a run at him. Finally, let's talk about Trey Lance, a name that has generated a lot of interest lately. Trey Lance is, without a doubt, one of the most intriguing young quarterbacks in the league. He was drafted 3rd overall by the San Francisco 49ers in the 2021 NFL Draft, and his immense potential had people excited about the 49ers' future. However, after an injury-plagued 2022 season and a struggle to win the starting job in 2023, Lance's future with San Francisco is uncertain. This is where the Cowboys could come in and potentially make a move for him. The Cowboys already have Dak Prescott as their franchise quarterback, but the idea of Trey Lance as a backup or future option is something that could intrigue them. Lance is a raw talent with a big arm, impressive athleticism, and the ability to make plays with his legs. While he has shown inconsistency in his limited playing time with the 49ers, there's no denying that the upside is there. He just needs the right situation and development to reach his full potential. Dallas has done a great job of bringing in young quarterbacks over the years to develop behind Prescott, and Lance would fit that mold perfectly. If the Cowboys could trade for Lance, they wouldn't be giving up a ton, given his current value and the 49ers' willingness to move on from him. A trade for Lance could be a low-risk, high-reward situation for the Cowboys, and who knows? Maybe in a few years, Lance could be the quarterback leading the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. Lance's style of play is somewhat similar to Dak's in that both are dual-threat quarterbacks who can make big plays with their arms and legs. Having Lance on the roster would give the Cowboys a backup who could step in and run a similar offense in case of injury. While the Cowboys are still committed to Dak Prescott as their starter, having a young quarterback with potential could be an interesting insurance policy, especially as the team continues to build for the future. Ultimately, whether the Cowboys pull the trigger on Lance depends on their confidence in his development, and whether they believe he could be the future of the franchise. If they feel Lance is worth developing into a future starter, he could be a great addition to the team, giving the Cowboys another option in case things don't work out with Prescott down the line. So, to recap, the Cowboys are looking at 3 very interesting possibilities: Asante Samuel Jr. to solidify the secondary, Calais Campbell to add strength to the defensive line, and Trey Lance to potentially become the quarterback of the future. Each of these moves would help the Cowboys in different ways, but they also come with their own set of challenges. Whether any of these moves come to fruition is still uncertain, but one thing is for sure: the Cowboys have some exciting decisions to make as they look to build a championship-caliber team. Now that we've unpacked the details, what do you think? Should the Cowboys make a move for these players? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Would Asante Samuel Jr. be the upgrade the Cowboys need in their secondary? Could Calais Campbell be the missing piece on the defensive line, Or is it better to stick with the current roster? And would you take a chance on Trey Lance as the backup quarterback of the future? Drop your thoughts below, and let's discuss. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more NFL content, and ring the bell to stay updated on all the latest news and rumors surrounding your Dallas Cowboys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.